wants to clap.
He wants to
I'll
clap.
have to
Give him the.
this time.
All right.
Still contagious, so I'm gonna have to give him.
Nice. No mask though. You don't need a.
Test
Yeah.
it,
Absolutely.
Here we go.
Oh. Ouch! Quit hitting me. Jesus Christ! Come on.
Hey, here we go. Rockin', rollin'. This is it. Episode.
What is this?
451. Joe Larson.
Oh man, no nice round number.
No.
Who
no,
was 450?
No.
Screw that person.
I know, Joe. Joe, you blew it. You should have been here last week instead of Dan Soder. We could have had 400 and 450.
I will say this: Soder has that perfect radio voice, though. So if you're gonna have a nice round number, it should go to Soder.
I mean, it was a good episode. I'm not gonna deny.
Absolutely,
that. It was
it's
absolutely
Soder.
a
He's
good
great.
episode. Yeah, but this one we have a chance.
We
to
don't
top
know.
it.
We don't know.
Who knows?
You don't
Who
say
knows?
it's gonna be great.
But you were here for 400 in January of last year.
Right when they cut you down to 30 minutes, when they stopped letting you do a full hour. Coming here today, I was like, what are we gonna do? A tight 15? What are we down to, like 3 to 5? All right.
That's next year.
You still at 30? Congratulations. You're holding yourself strong.
Next year, I just tweet you a question, and then someone at the club here reads it back.
That's great. That would be perfect. I'd appreciate that.
No, here we are. So it's been just over a year. I haven't quite got, we missed a couple weeks here and there of the last year. It's
Well, yeah, because of COVID.
because
Yep,
of COVID.
yep,
and-
mhm.
But here we
Coco
are. We're
Roco.
back. I listened back to when you to episode 400.
Yeah.
Well, Brandon and I were talking about it last week, and he was like, "Man, Joe came in and he was just on fire last week or last year when he did the podcast. You remember? He was roasting you at the beginning." I'm like, "Yeah, I vaguely remember that." And then I listened back to it. I'm like, "Oh yeah, there's like 5 solid minutes of roasting." and then you said, "Hey, give me a break. I've been locked up with my family so long.
Absolutely.
I need to get this out."
Yeah.
And I was the
Because
I
you can't roast your children if you want them to be okay with life. You just rip them every day. That's how you make strippers.
So we're back now. We're back. February 2022, episode 451. You're
Now,
back on the road.
This is the exciting thing about this episode is this is the first episode of World War III.
Yeah,
We've
I mean,
begun.
so I spend time, prepping for the podcast, and it's hard to not get caught on all of the current events going on in the world right now.
Here's what I found amazing. I just read that it was 4 days ago, right? This is before World War III started, that Ukrainian parents were putting stickers with their child's blood type on them to go to school. And all I could think was, us Americans, we are such pussies. We cancel school because of snow and rain, and they're like, hey, there's war coming. Get over there. I got shit to do.
We trained
Come
for this.
on.
Yeah.
And then they look at us and they're like, hey, can you help us out? We're like, I don't know. How's the weather?
Yeah,
we're
right.
Such pansy asses. So we have World War III. We have the Olympics going on as well. If you had to compete in one Olympic sport, what would it be?
Are we talking winter, since that's what we're just having, Winter Olympics?
Sure, yeah, winter.
Narrow to Winter Olympics?
If you would be good at one, what would it be? And also, if you had to compete in one, what would that be?
I'm going to go with a third one. The one that I wish that I was good enough to compete in, because it looks like so much fun, would be snowboarding.
Snowboarding.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's terrible.
Terrible?
Yeah.
I always thought that when I skied a lot, like in my teens and 20s, snowboarding was kind of, gaining popularity at the time. And I always thought, but it was always young people doing it. And I always thought, I'm not going to switch over to snowboarding because I'm not going to be 70 years old and there's no 70-year-old snowboarders.
What? You were 20 when that happened. You were already thinking about when you were 70 snowboarding?
Yes.
Jesus Christ, you're an old man.
But on the flip side, I haven't been skiing in like 15
yeah,
years.
of course.
Anyway.
I was going to say.
I don't even ski anyway.
Yeah. Once regular responsibilities hit you, you're like, wait a minute, how much for a lift ticket? Absolutely not. I can't.
Also, I have a job that, like a physical, like I need my body and health to make money. Not this job, but the other ones that not this job necessarily, but other ones that I have where if I can't, physically move, it's I can't injure myself. I should not put myself in situations to hurt myself.
Yeah, that's a very old guy thing to say.
I know.
Isn't that? Yeah. I can't have fun because then I might get hurt and then I won't be able to work, which is what I do for fun now.
Oh, pros and cons.
It's
pros
terrible.
And cons.
I always liked the one where they ski and shoot. I always thought that was a fun where they ski and then they shoot something.
Makes
and then
no
they ski some
sense,
more.
that combo.
Are
but-
you shitting me? It's the greatest combo ever. There should be more violence matched with non-violent sports. Right? I think snowboarding, right? Maybe snowboarding, you're not shooting things, right? Because that was skiing took over that one, right? But let's add another violent element to it. I think maybe machete, and when you come up out of the half pipe, you got to like Fruit Ninja shit. They can throw watermelons at you, right? Do a full realistic Fruit Ninja thing.
I like that.
Right? Let's add a little element of difficulty. Because at this point, the snowboarding is so incredibly impressive with all of the flips. It's you don't even realize it when somebody does it really well and they lose. It's still a billion times too impressive to even comprehend.
Oh, yeah.
How impressive it is.
Absolutely.
So throw fruit at them and have them hit it with machetes. Because then also, you are not gonna not stick that landing.
That's true.
If you have a sharp blade, 2 sharp blades in your hand, you are going to be very concerned about sticking that landing.
This is like sort of a Olympic version of that. What is it? That Edward Scissorhands thing
Yeah.
or whatever, where they 40 hands, where they do like college
Edward-
kids
Yes.
tape the 40 ounces to their hand.
See, even better. You nailed it. I think what we do is we give them Wolverine gloves, right? Just 3 blades coming out of the knuckles, okay? And then they don't have to grab it, so they can still grab the board and stuff. Oh, I
Maybe
think,
some off the top of the helmet.
or make like the edge crazy sharp, so they could cut it with the edge of the board.
I have an even better idea.
I don't think so. I
have a
don't.
worse idea that I just came up with.
Okay, what is it? I'll be the judge of that.
70-year-olds with no experience. Just push them on out there.
Yeah, that is a worse idea. You're right. Fucking nailed it. At least you called it. You know what I mean? At least you called it. Jesus Christ, you're a horrible human being. Just shove 70-year-olds down a hill.
Maybe you get a...
They don't know?
There's something in it for them.
Wait, what? They're 70. Do you have to find like homeless 70-year-olds and try to break their hips? You're a horrible human being. No wonder they took away half your podcast.
That's right. Normally that second half, that last 30 was when we talked about hurting people.
And now you got to get right to it.
And now
I
I
don't have a lot of time.
First 5 minutes.
Let's get
we
right
to-
into hurting the elderly. After that, we're going to go into kicking puppies.
That's right. Yep. Baby toss.
Mm-hmm.
Baby toss. I need to know. Have you been saying? Are you comfortable saying Kyiv, Ukraine, or are you still Kiev?
I'm Kiev.
You're Kyiv.
I'm
Have you
Kyiv.
been Kyiv?
No, I heard a little while ago it was Kiev, and I was like, no, it's not. And then I saw how it was spelled, and I was like, oh, it's totally Kiev.
Right.
Now, what I've realized, though, as I watch this news cycle, is when I watch CNN, MSNBC, or CNBC, it's Kiev. And then when I watch Fox, there's just a dude who's not letting it go. It's Kiev. This is fucking America. We call it what the fuck we want to call it. It's hysterical. There was a dude in the field, and like even the lady in the office, right? Fox News lady running the whole jam was like in Kiev, and he's like, yeah, I'm in Kiev.
She's like doing that thing where you like pass when you try to like politely correct someone or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
She's
Yeah, yeah.
like keeps throwing it in there, but
I did that once. I did the opposit of that. When I was 17, I was a lifeguard at a public pool. Fired.
Yep.
And new guys just called me Steve one day. And I was like, yeah, what's up? And I didn't correct him. And for 3 months, he'd call me Steve, and I'd just answer him. And then one day we were at a meeting, and they're like, Joe, do you have something to say? And I'm like, yeah. And I go on, and he comes up to me after, it's like, why'd they call you Joe? And I was like, oh, that's my name. And he goes, you've let me call you Steve for 3 months? And I was like, absolutely. I just thought that was hilarious. He was actually really upset about it.
yeah. Did you know his name?
I don't remember it.
No.
I'm going to call him Steve.
Dude, I didn't want to tell you had it wrong the whole time, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Chief, I didn't want to tell you had it wrong.
Hey, buddy. Hey, buckaroo.
That would have been a great way to go. Hey, Pally.
I'm terrible with names.
Didn't want to correct you. So, like, if that happened right now,
If somebody called me the wrong name.
or
if-
how about this, the other way, where like somebody at the club here, for example, you haven't seen in maybe a year or two, and you're like, I know their name. Do you just flat out ask? Could you just not? Do you hope it comes up?
I'm not nervous about that.
Okay.
I can ask. I can go, hey, I don't remember your name. And then I'll be like, because I don't care. And then that usually gets a response, It depends on the person, but,
You haven't been thinking about me since you've been
yeah,
gone?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I just spend all year going, oh, man, I can't wait to see Brandon again.
There's
I
no
wanna
Brandon
see-
here.
I want to see.
You must be making a joke. There's no Brandon here.
I want to see his. I want to see his too tight pants and his long.
Okay, there is a Brandon.
Yeah,
you got it.
yeah, nailed it.
You got it right.
Is it Brandon or is it Brendan? It's Brandon, right? Yeah, that's what I thought.
well,
All right, all right. Then you got me second guessing myself there. All right.
It's Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
It's Brandon.
Did you see that a skier froze his penis off?
Yes, cross country skier,
Yeah.
frozen penis.
Yeah, it's not even an exciting sport. Like he didn't even have fun freezing his dick off.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
And I was thinking about that. So they have the I don't know if I saw any of the men wearing. Maybe I didn't watch any, but like Minnesota had a really from Aftons, Minnesota. Jesse Diggins got a couple medals this year in the cross country. So I watched some of her races, and the women were wearing like these sticker patches, like over their cheeks.
Yeah.
I think that's I assume for warmth to cut down wind or something.
Well, that was my guess. Was like, first off, now here's the other thing. I read this is not the first time this has happened. Not necessarily to this guy.
That's good. To him?
You don't get,
oh my God!
You don't get two penises.
Shame on you.
Or if you do, I mean that's the most masculine thing ever. If you get two penises, do you have 4 testicles? I don't know. Anyway, it would look like udders at a certain point. No, but somebody had already had their that's a thing that can occur in this sport, which begs the question: how aerodynamic do we need to be?
Yeah.
Here's the other question: this statement. This Finnish skier has to be, hands down, the most patriotic man on the planet. He lost his dick for his country. I don't know if he won. My wife said, "Did he win?" And I said, "I think even if you cross the line first, no."
Right.
He lost, but I won't even vote. That's too much. And he's going to lose his dick for his country. That's amazing. I am so that's a real man. Well, he was a real man.
Yeah. I mean, is there a point in the race where he's realizing what is happening and you just like push through?
I imagine he had to come in first because could you imagine being like 5th and feeling your dick freeze and being like, I'm gonna keep losing this race.
Yeah, right. You're in the most pain and you're the slowest.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I would bow out at a certain point. It's not worth it.
They don't give an extra. I mean, if you didn't finish in the top 3, that's unfortunate that you don't. There's no extra award for you don't get a Purple Heart or something like that.
There should be a Purple
blue
Heart
balls.
for the Olympics. That would be great if they honored the people that just threw it all out there and fucking ate shit.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a great thing in the Olympics. So you'd have one podium with the 1, 2, and 3, and then there'd just be wheelchairs for the bottom 3 and.
The podium has a ramp.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly. Yeah, these people will not be competing in the next 4 years Olympics.
That's true.
Love it. What's the worst pain you've ever put yourself through for job, sport, someone else, not for you?
Oh boy, I don't know if this. I'm just gonna tell you this one because the first thing that popped into my head when I was a little kid. I remember being at this park with my family, and I wanted to hop up and get a drink. I was too short to get a drink of water from this drinking fountain. The base of it was stone.
Okay.
And I jumped, I kept trying to jump up to get, and at one of the times I crushed, not my balls, but my dick. Crushed my dick. And that was...
Look at this guy trying to brag. He's like, even as a kid, I had a big dick.
I was too short, but I mean that.
Trying to brag. Never had that problem myself.
Went from the dirt to the to the top of that stone water faucet.
Good for you. Jesus Christ, he's got hops and a huge cock. Good for you.
How about you, sir?
I wouldn't.
Nothing.
I don't care. No. I'm very old now. I don't do things that are. Actually, that's not true. I do things that are dangerous. I fixed my own roof this year, which was terrifying. I got a quote for. I've got a clay tile roof. Do you know what those are? Spanish tile roofs.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. Well, and fucking pain in the ass. They're crazy expensive. If you ever get the chance to get. I know why Spain is broke as a country, because they made these roofs and they're really expensive to fix. So I got a quote. It was after Hurricane Ida. My house flooded and the roof leaked. And so I got this quote for this valley, and it was just they got to replace the valley and do a little thing around the chimney. And the first quote was $10,500. That's not replacing the roof. That's just fixing one valley and doing the chimney. And the other quote was for $975, for like $9,700. I sourced some materials for like $300, and I was like, "That I'm doing it." And I climbed up on that roof. And here's the thing about those roofs is when people replace the tiles, unless you redo the whole thing, what they do is they just put adhesive material, like a glue, on the new tile and just jam it up there and kind of stick it in so that it won't go anywhere. But when a 200-pound man steps on it, that tile just kicks right out. And then you land on a 3-story roof going, "Fuck, oh my God."
You're like Bambi on ice.
It was the most terrifying thing I've ever done. Now, here's what's funny. So my neighbor on one side is a rock climber. Climbs all over the place, climbed all over the world, super beast. So I was like, "Hey, man, you got to help me out. Come on up with me." So I go up first. I bolt in a D-ring. I tie myself off. I run him the rope. He goes up. He's terrified up there. He's like my age. He's like, this is uncomfortable. He's climbed, again, rock faces hundreds of feet in the air. He's more terrified of being on my roof than any of those situations. My neighbor, who's 76 years old, he's built his own house. He's a real man's man. He starts climbing up and down this ladder and jumping on the roof like it's no big deal at all. And that's when I realized, here's the thing. I've fixed a bunch of things in my own house. I'm a pretty handy guy. I'm pretty strong. I'm all the things. In my generation, I'm considered pretty manly. And I am such a pansy ass compared to my 76-year-old neighbor.
Compared to Grandpa.
Even at 76. That's how tough the previous generation was, or how not tough our generation is.
Mm-hmm.
We are not men at all compared to the previous generation. It is incredible.
Yeah. Sir, what did you have for breakfast this morning? A bowl of rocks is probably what he had.
What I like about him is he eats cereal for dinner. It's so funny. I'm like, "Hey, Butch, what you eating today?" Grape nuts.
Grape
nuts.
Well, talk about
It's
it.
easy.
I think you have to show an ID to buy grape nuts. You have to be like 70-some years old.
You have to have an AARP card.
Even to be sold grape nuts, as far as I know.
Yeah, it's easier to get weed in this country than grape nuts at this point.
That's absolutely true. Hey, I don't know if you know this, but I snuck in and watched some of the show last night.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Excellent show.
Thank you.
Great.
People have been giving very good reviews. People coming up afterwards and saying things like that. Great show. And I'm not one to brag. Often I don't like to boast about myself, but people are like, "That was amazing." Some people said that was the greatest thing I've ever seen. One person said, "Are you the second coming of Christ?" I don't like to really toot my own horn personally, but these are just things that they were saying. One woman, she committed suicide afterwards because she said, "Nothing else will compare to that in life. I'm done."
I left
mean,
her. I left
I'm
early.
not
I didn't even see that.
I'm not trying to brag about my own show. I would never do that. But these are things other people were doing.
Amazing and believable. Great crowd work last night, I want to tell you, as always. And you brought up something that I think you mentioned it briefly. Maybe you had it planned. The vasectomy coming up was a year ago.
I had not had it yet.
Yeah, and now you have.
Mm-hmm.
And I also, here's the other thing. I heard you on somebody else, Michael Yo. I started listening to you on that podcast a few days ago that you recorded, I don't know, sometime last summer. And you got to the part of you were going to start describing that, and I turned it off. I was like, I want to hear it firsthand. I don't want to hear it. I have my own questions. I don't want to hear it.
Okay. All right.
So let's establish something here. So, if people know that I've heard you on this podcast,
yes,
that you have a tattoo.
A tattoo, yes.
And it's downstairs on the ball sack.
It is on my scrotum.
It says "may contain nuts."
Like a warning label.
So we're establishing that for people who don't already know that.
Yes.
You have 2 kids already.
And I had 2 kids when I got that tattoo because, again, people need to know that this is a very dangerous area.
So then since then you decided I'm no more kids. I'm gonna get a vasectomy.
Got the vasect.
And you go in and a doctor does that, or somebody comes in and does that procedure.
Yeah. So have you had it?
No, it gets brought up quite a bit by someone that lives in my house, and that isn't me.
Yeah. That's amazing that your kids are so excited about you having a vasectomy.
They shouldn't even care, but they just keep bringing it up.
I know. It's so weird.
I want to know.
Yeah.
Did whoever was in that room, did they get warned of what they were about to see?
No.
Okay.
No. So there's 2 appointments. There's the preliminary appointment where you go in and they go over the procedure. And that story that I started with last night, which was they hand you a cup and they point you to a bathroom and they don't tell you what goes in the cup, which is a hell of a game of roulette.
Just one cup?
Just one cup. Yeah, exactly. I know. Don't separate them? And so I peed in it, which turns out the right answer. I didn't know, because I know afterwards you got to not pee in a cup.
Yeah.
And then they count it, which I don't know who gets that job, but wow, what a disgusting Rain Man.
Excellent vision on that person too.
Incredible vision. I know. Where'd you get LASIK done?
5,000, 5,001, 5,002.
Have you ever tried to just get cats to go the same direction? So yeah, then he sees you, and the doctor was a nice guy. He was younger. He was like 40 maybe, and he comes in and he's rambling through this speech like just like he's said it a billion times, and I'm sure he has. Anyway, so this procedure will leave you sterile, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take the vas deferens and we're going to put a little Novocaine into your scrotum, and then we're going to find the vas deferens, pinch it off on both sides, cut it, cauterize it, and then put it back in, sew it up, do one side, do the other side. It's about 20 minutes, and then what we're going to do is before we do that, at the end of this at the end of this appointment, we're just going to do a physical examination, make sure everything's fine and prepped and ready to go, and then you'll come back in a week and we'll do it. And I go, okay. And he goes, any questions? I said, nope. And he goes, hop up on this table and pull your pants down. And I go, okay. And I pull my pants down, and he starts feeling my vas deferens on the side of my scrotum. And this is when he breaks, because everything's been not even professional, bored. Just, and he's feeling with both hands the vas deferens, which is like this little guy right here. He's doing this with it, rolling it back and forth. Yeah. And then he goes, is that a tattoo? And I go, yeah, it says may contain nuts, like a warning label. And he goes, he touched his own face. He had gloves on, touching my scrot, and then he goes straight up to his face. And and he goes, that's a first. I'm not going to lie to you. That's a first. He goes, you don't get a lot of firsts in here.
Yeah.
That's a first. I've seen a lot of things. None of them surprised me. That one got me. And I was like, you realize you touched your face? And he goes, oh, shit, that's a first too.
No way.
Absolutely. And so I pull up my pants, and he's like, what? How do you, what it, I have so many questions. And I was like, all right, you can ask questions now, I guess. And he goes, did you get that from me? And I was like, no, I didn't.
No.
I know. I was like, you narcissistic twat. You didn't.
Was he seeing if it would smudge?
Yeah.
Like,
and I was like, no, I got it like 5 years ago. I thought it was funny. And he goes, what are you, And then he's leaving the door, and he's like, I wish I could tell somebody about this. And I was like, go ahead. He goes, OSHA rules. I can't tell anybody about this.
Yeah, but we know. You guys. Your
So-
wife will be laughing at this at the dinner table tonight, no doubt.
So he does all of his vasectomies on Tuesday, or he does them throughout the week before he works. So his office opens at 7:30. You pop in at 7. He just rips it out. Then he goes about his day. That's how he does it. So he's like, come in a week and a half from whatever. And so it's a Tuesday, and I show up at 7. I walk into the room. The nurse is just sit here, and doctor will be in a moment. And I'm sitting there waiting, looking around the room, and the door opens, and he comes in and he goes, I've been thinking about your nuts all week. I said, it's nice.
You should have brought him like a bag of peanut M&Ms or something.
Yeah.
It's a little
It's
reminder.
nice to see you too, you know. And then we did the procedure. The procedure. So you get two choices. You can either get knocked out, or you can. But if you get knocked out, you got to go to like a medical center, and it costs a bunch of fucking more money, and you have to have somebody drive you, and it's a whole thing, right? Or he's like, we can do it like a cavity, you know, where we just pump you full of Novocaine. And then it's 20 minutes in and out. I was in there at 7. I was done by 7:20, walking out the door. It was incredible. This dude was super fast. He had a woman timing him. The vasectomy rodeo. And
8 seconds.
8 seconds. So I take down my pants, and we just start chatting. He goes like this. He goes, actually he said, he goes, at the appointment before he saw the tattoo, he was like, okay, so if you choose to be awake, then bring some headphones or something so you can be distracted, and you can just listen to music, listen to a podcast, do whatever you want to do while I go about my business. So I did. I brought in headphones, and I had these headphones in my pockets, and he would not let me listen to whatever I was listening. He just kept talking to me. He had so many questions, and he wanted to know so much. So we're shooting the shit the whole time about me getting the tattoo, and about comedy, and about life, and all this stuff. And he's cutting into me, and he hits you with 2 things of Novocaine, and then he goes, okay, can you feel this? And he pinches it, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm good. And he goes, all right, tell me if you can feel the knife, which is a pretty alarming statement.
Yeah.
When it comes
Maybe
to
next time just say, tell me if you can feel the next thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like He was like, tell me if you can feel me cutting your scrotum open with a razor blade. And so he just makes an incision. He's like, you good? I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's, you know. Oh, it also wasn't, I don't know if this is just because the skin is so saggy, or if it's because that's how you do it with skin, but he didn't like go shh, like you would like a piece of paper. He went almost like a it was very well. It wasn't like an apple, like shink. It was he had like scoring something, you know.
Oh.
And then he pulls the vas out, and he clamps it on both sides, and that's when you feel it, because
Is there a sound, like a bad, like a, I don't know, some
there's
sort
a
of
smell and a smoke at a certain point, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
So he clamps both sides of the cord, boom, boom, like that, right? He clamps them off, and then
How convenient to have that cord right there.
yeah, exactly. This is why I can't do cordless mics. And so he clamps both sides, and that's when you feel it. This because it feels like you're getting kicked in the nuts a little bit. It's not like you're getting kicked actively in the nuts. Like you got kicked in the nuts about 3 minutes before, and you can walk now, but you're like, oh, oh, and so you feel like that. So it's pretty uncomfortable. And he's like, it's uncomfortable, right? And I'm like, yeah, what? Yeah, just go faster. And then he snips, and then he takes a cauterizing thing, like a soldering iron.
Yeah.
And then he plugs into the wall, and I'm like, you didn't prep that? We could have had that. No, it was quick.
Extension cord,
Yeah,
please?
yeah. Shit. We're out of solder.
I need a new Ryobi battery on this thing.
I should have gone brand name. So, no, it was like a laser thing. So he cauterized, and then you see smoke, and you smell smoke, and that's part of your body.
Ooh.
And then he shoves it back in there and sews you up, and then he hops on the other side, does the same thing to the other side, and then he gives a little Vaseline on the biz, and then he stuffs your pants basically with gauze, like on either side.
Sure.
And he's like, I hope you don't like these underpants, because they're going to be real bloody and real stained up. And I'm like, oh, my underpants look like a squirrel has been in the back of them, so don't.
Stop.
Don't worry.
Rorschach test.
Exactly. I mean, come on. The blood will just distract from the shit stains. This is the best thing that's happened.
What color does brown and red make?
Yeah. So, and then he was like, you can just lay here and collect yourself, and then the nurse will come in. And I like laid there. I was like, what are we going to do? And then she comes in. She's like, put your pants on. I'm like, all right, cool. And I put my pants on. And then I leave, and they're like, and I just drove myself home. It was 7:30 in the morning. Then I started my day, and I
might as well get some coffee now.
I mowed the lawn that day.
No,
you know?
fuck, no, you didn't.
Absolutely,
No.
I did. 100%.
No.
They were like, you're gonna need to sit. Every dude was like, you're gonna need to sit with peas on your crotch.
Yeah.
Fuck that. You don't need to do it. I mowed the lawn. I did laundry. I did other things.
Banged your wife.
Yeah. That was the one time that year. Yeah, she decided. No.
I apologize
Yeah.
for using the word bang in your
Oh
life.
no, trust me, that's what I use, and that's why it's once a year. I go, hey, what up? You want to bang? I live in Jersey now, and that's how we talk. Yeah. And then you go back a week later, and he checks it out, and he feels again with his fingers to make sure that it's still separated, nothing grew back together. And he's like, and then he goes, you could still be potentially potent, virulent, because those little fellas can hang out in that tube for a while. So 3 months, he said, 3 months.
3 months.
You gotta wait 3 months and then you can test it. And he said, after 3 months, you'll have probably, you still have to wear a condom when you have sex with your wife. And I was like, don't worry about that. And then, no, he was hilarious. I was like, this procedure's not what's keeping me from having sex this month or year. And so he goes, and he's like, because you gotta, after 3 months of, ejaculation, you'll clean those pipes out, essentially. And I was like, I'm on the road. Give me a good weekend. I'll have that done in no time.
Yeah.
It'll be like Roto-Rooter. We'll clean these guys out real quick. Don't you worry.
Oh yeah, we got everything out of the main pipe there.
You know what's hilarious
Just
is
clean right to the street.
people watch these podcasts with me and you, and they're probably like, wow, he's probably a filthy comedian. I do cruise ships and corporate gigs. I've done churches and synagogues.
So, yes, and it's funny that you say that because I listened to you on another podcast. I don't remember the guy's name. I wasn't familiar with him. He's gay and a comedian.
Okay.
And he was saying, like, he just kept saying over and over again, like, how you're clean, you're clean.
Oh,
you're
Adam
clean.
Sank.
That's
Yes.
it. Yes.
Mhm.
And then you're like, well, I did. And then when you told him about the balls, and
Oh,
he was like,
What? Yeah.
I wish there was. I don't know if there was video. I was just listening to it. Like, I would have loved to see his reaction because you could hear the jaw hitting the floor.
Adam Sank show. It's a fascinating. Yeah, it's fun to go on a show where like half the time it's gay porn stars that he talks to, and then me, dad of two, goes on and he's like, "Hold on, you what?"
Yes.
Like, Gotcha.
I mean, he was saying things like, "Of everyone I know, you're the last."
Well, that was the problem. I thought when I did the tattoo, I was like, this will be funny. I'll be able to talk about it on stage. And then people see me, and they're like, they just don't believe me. They're like, you're making that up for comedy, and now it's not funny. And I'm like, well, I wish I was making it up. I would.
I love that so much.
Actually, I don't wish. I love that tattoo. I have 10 tattoos. That's the one I like the best.
You have 10?
Yeah.
What? How? When's the last time you got one?
That was the last one, because, I mean, once you climb Everest... like, what are you gonna get? More badass tattoo?
Come on, you've thought about what could top this. I know you've at least
Okay,
thought about
yeah,
it.
I would get one on my dick. It said if you can read this, then the bitch fell off, like the biker thing. But unfortunately, I don't have. I don't have enough canvas. We'll say. It'd be like, if you can read this, you have really good magnifying glasses.
Have you seen those? Those I don't know what they do art like on a grain of rice,
There we go.
and you have to see it through a magnifying glass.
Last one, I busted your balls, and you were like, listen, I'm going to call this guy a grain of rice-sized dickless motherfucker. Jesus, he comes out swinging.
Did I tell you how funny you were last night? I told you that. Because I'm not just saying that. You're
We
very
had
funny.
fun last
Hey,
night.
I want to talk about one other thing that I saw that you did.
Okay.
You went to Dubai?
Yes.
So
Dubai.
yesterday,
Dubai.
it was. What did you hear you say? It was 10 below when you got here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I checked the weather. It's 70. It's like 3 in the morning right now.
Yeah.
Well, as we're recording this in Dubai, and it's 70 degrees.
I went there in July, which is apparently, I don't know how to pick dates. Minnesota summer, Dubai winter. That would be how you do it, not the reverse. It was hotter than the face of the sun, and it was a really incredible experience. I'd never been, and And so beforehand, I'm reading things about Dubai. It's a Muslim country. Don't even try to bring drugs in; they'll kill you immediately. No booze. It's a Muslim country. Do not touch a woman that you don't know. Do not try to kiss any woman. You will be put in jail. If you're even dating a woman, you can't stay in the same hotel room. You got to get different hotel rooms.
These were your wife's rules?
These are the things. Yes, exactly. These are my wife's rules. And then Dubai had even stricter ones. And no pork, of course, because it's a Muslim country. So I get there and I'm a little anxious, and I'm like, what can I say on stage? And they're like, you can say whatever you want on stage. Honestly, no one's here that's from the government, and if there was, we'd know, and so don't worry about it. You can criticize the country, you can criticize the king. It's okay. Okay, all right. After the show gets over, the producer goes, "Hey, you want to go grab a drink in the bar?" And I'm like, "I thought there's no booze in Dubai. It's a Muslim country." And she's like, "No, there's bars in every hotel." And I was like, "What, really?" And she goes, "Yeah, come on down, but watch out. This one's full of hookers." I'm like, "What?" Just hookers everywhere. Just full of, I've never, and blatant. My buddy Peter, who's side note, Peter, when I met him, he's from Poland. He's a comic in Poland. And I was like, he was asking me about the New York scene, and I was like, "What's it like doing comedy in Poland?" And he goes, "Well, I'm famous in Poland." And I was like, that's one of the funniest things I've ever heard. I was like, you got to get that on a T-shirt. So his name's Piotr Shumaski, and he has a YouTube special that has like 10 million views, and Poland only has like 6 million people, so he's very famous. But so Peter and I are walking down the street at like 1 a.m. to get kebabs, and this woman walking next to us just goes, "I'll fuck both of you for $100." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Right, well, like, so it's so out in the open. It's really wild.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Here's the one thing I could not find. Bacon. There was not pork product at all. That's the one thing they're holding strictly to.
You didn't meet the right person.
Good luck getting bacon. Are you kidding me?
They're going to be like, all right, you got to go 3 levels down below this building, 6 passwords.
Yeah.
And you need to kill someone, and then we'll let you.
Bacon don't make money. That's the thing.
Oh, of course.
Sex and drugs make money.
Of course.
Yeah. So because it's and Ali actually said this. He goes, "It's halal Vegas," which is a fantastic line. Ali Sultan, very funny. So when I went there, I was like, "It's halal." It is. It's halal Vegas, and it's wild. It's also one of the safest places you'll ever be. I was asking about, like, do we have to be nervous about anything? And the woman who's one of the producers, Gail, fantastic woman. She's British originally. She's lived there for 25 years. She was like, "Oh, no. I could leave this purse right out here on the sidewalk with all of my money and credit cards in it and come back tomorrow, and it would be right there with all of my money and credit cards in it." Because if you do anything, they chop your arm off, or they kill you right there, or they ship you back to your country. So that's basically how it works. Is if you're poor, they'll just murder you, and if you're from a rich country, they'll ship you off immediately. So if you want to go to Dubai, buy a one-way ticket.
How long were you there, and what type of places were you performing?
10 days. I was there for 10 days, and it was mostly whorehouses. No, it was.
That's all there is.
Yeah, well, it was hotels. So hotels in Dubai are like the international waters of Dubai. You can do whatever you want there. You can serve drinks. You can, hookers. You can. It's crazy. So, so that's where comedy occurs. So anything fun in Dubai happens in a hotel. That's why there's a billion hotels in Dubai.
Okay.
That's where they can sell booze and all that stuff. And so it was just in these like hotel sort of conference rooms they'd set up for comedy. So each month they bring in 3 comics from around the world, and they have a little showcase run, and they're bringing me back in February of next year. I requested the comics I'm going to work with. One of them's David Crow. We're going to work together.
Oh, that's awesome.
And Megan Hanley, the very funny Megan Hanley. We're going to work there. But they just set up another show in Iraq. In Ibril, Iraq, I think is what it's called. It's supposedly the oldest city in the world.
Okay.
So we'll be performing there, which I've performed on cruise ships, so I'm ready for old.
How old you got?
Yeah, how old you got? I have. Absolutely. Moses, is that you? But it was Dubai was a very cool experience. Yeah, it's wild how westernized it is. It was not a cultural experience.
Yeah.
Until we went out, and again, Peter's famous in Poland, so somebody found out that he was there, and he's like, "Hey, dude, I'm a tour guide from Poland who books stuff in Dubai for Polish people. I gotcha. Just meet somebody here at this one place." And he's like, "Can Joe come?" Absolutely. So these guys took us out, and we went the dune buggy driving through the desert over these sand dunes, and it was crazy because on top of the dunes, you'd have this and then you go down in the middle, and the sound reverberates off of them. So it sounds like helicopters over your head, and then you pop back up, and it's like the ocean. It's like if you like Deadliest Catch, you're coming in and out of these rollers.
Yeah.
And we had a guide, thank God, because you get 5 minutes away from you where you left, you don't know where you're going.
Oh, sure. Every direction looks
it
the
all
same.
looks exactly the same. Yeah, it's like the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
And you got a little four-wheeler, and then we went sand dune surfing, where you get a snowboard and you surf down the sand dunes, which sounds better than it is. It's exhausting climbing back up. And then we went, and then they let the tires, the air out of the tires. They were driving back in these Land Rovers. And they pull off to the side of the road, and they start letting air out of the tires. I was like, all right, here's where we get murdered.
This is no, baby, stop.
Yeah. No, this is because again, we didn't know what we were doing. So we just met a dude and was like, okay, great. And so we took off with him.
Yeah.
Kind of terrifying. And then he just pulls off the road, and he starts driving this 4Runner, or this Land Rover, over these huge dunes, and he jumped it like 4 or 5 times. We caught air, and I thought it was the funniest thing in the world, and Peter almost vomited like 15 times, and it was so much fun to watch him. But it was a super fun experience. I mean, what a wild country.
And you get to go back.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was great. So it was the crowds are very international. Dubai has only 10% of the population from Dubai, or in Dubai is from Dubai, or I'm sorry, is from the UAE. So the country is 90% expatriates.
Okay.
So it's people from Cleveland and Egypt and Russia, and it's a very international show. So it's really like doing shows in Times Square. So because that's where all the tourists are. So
yeah.
It's when the other comics would go up, they didn't really know how to get everybody on the same page. So they'd hit, they'd miss, they'd hit, they'd miss. And I was like, I've done this before. It's just smacking them around. It's digging into the audience and getting them all on the same page and playing with them and messing with them. And then once you got them on the same page, then you can take them on your ride. So it was I had a great time. My shows were super fun.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
Yep.
All right. Let's put a bow on this thing. I'm going to bring up one more thing, and we're going to hit the road here. Did you catch whose birthday it is today? Deceased, by the way, but it's someone's birthday.
Mitch Hedberg.
Yes. You nailed it.
Yes.
Did you ever know Mitch?
The first time I ever saw porn was at Mitch Hedberg's apartment when he lived with Chard Hogan in Seattle.
The first time you saw porn?
Yes.
Really?
My father was a comedian,
Yeah,
as you know, and we've talked about, I believe, on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
He worked here.
Yep.
My school, my dad was going on a road gig. He was bringing Mitch to open for him, and so the way it happened to work was he left our house. He dropped by my school. Mitch picked up Mitch, dropped me off, and then went on the road gig. And so Mitch, of course, was not ready. What's funny is Chard Hogan, his roommate's he was like a Christian comic almost. And so Chard lets us in, and I'm just sitting on the couch, and on the coffee table is a Playboy. And I was just like, what the and just seeing that cover, like, oh my God. And then Mitch, hey, I'm ready to go. Okay, cool. And we all hopped in the car and took off. So, yeah. I met Mitch once.
Didn't see that one coming.
Yep.
Didn't see that one
Full
coming.
of surprises.
Well,
what's your favorite Mitch joke?
Well, that's the thing.
Should we close on one?
Yeah, well, I printed some out.
Oh, you
I
printed them.
printed some out. I screenshot them. Pardon me, on my phone here.
Yes, the modern day printing.
You know what? I actually did print some stuff out today for the podcast, and I ran out of paper, and my wife is upset with me today, and she has the paper. She's working from home, and there's paper in her office. I didn't want to have to deal with her being upset with me to ask for a couple more sheets of paper, so I took old pieces a la Acme's office and printed on the backside. That one's for you, Brandon.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Anyway, but these are screenshots. Here's one I'm looking at right away here. I'll hand this over to you if you'd like.
No.
I haven't slept for 10 days.
That'd be way too long.
There you go.
How about this? You give me the setup. I'll give you the punchline.
Perfect. Every book is a children's book.
Ooh, I don't know this one.
If the kid
If
can
the kid
read.
could read. Okay, yeah. All right.
The depressing thing about tennis is that no matter how good I get,
I'll never be as good as a wall.
love it. Let's see. This shirt is dry clean only, which means
Yeah, it's unwashed.
It's
Nicely
dirty.
done. It's dirty. Yeah.
very good.
Which means it's dirty. Yeah.
All right, we'll do two more here.
Okay.
I wish I could play Little League now.
I'd kick the crap out of those kids.
I'd
Or
be way better
I'd be
than
way
them
better than I
before.
was before. Yeah.
And then, we'll do a couple. A severed foot is
The ultimate stocking stuffer.
boom.
Yes.
Perfect. We'll end there.
Well, here we go. I'm going to finish with this one. You can't please all the people all the time. And last night, all those people were at my show. Thank you, Mitch.
Joe.